Diocletian did many things, some being doubling the size of the army and heavily taxing the citizens to pay for this. However, the most important thing he did was deciding to split the Roman Empire into two halves, the East and the West. This new system was ruled by a tetrarchy, which is a system of ruling that had a senior ruler and a co-ruler/heir for each half of the empire. Therefore, each half could do whatever they wanted. Well, almost. Basically, each half managed themselves, and whatever the other half was doing didn't really affect them. This was fine for the East, which became richer from its control over trade routes and natural and military resources. The West mostly depended on the East for wealth and felt the loss of the East's support dramatically. As nomads invaded the hard-to-protect region, the West spent money on putting them down as well as spending money on putting down rebellions and usurpations at the same time. The East was more politically stable, so it didn't spend as much money on rebellions and usurpations as the West did. The East was also naturally protected, unlike the West. Constantinople, the capital of the East, was placed strategically where it could defend the East effectively. The East also had less riverbanks to cover. It only had the lower Danube region, as opposed to the West, which had the Rhine and the Danube. The combined geographical problems and the political instability of the West caused it to decline into deeper economic problems than the original "we have less money than the East" problem. Along with these problems, the silver value of the denarius was quickly falling. Emperor Nero had started debasing the denarius in 64 CE to the point where it became worthless when Diocletian came into power. Sometime during 200 CE, the silver content dropped even more. Because of this, inflation skyrocketed, and therefore prices rose. However, people's salaries weren't rising, so inflation destroyed the economy. As more Germanic tribesmen became part of the Roman army, the army demanded higher salaries. Therefore, the government taxed the people more to pay the army, but inflation's rapid rise made it hard for the people to pay the rising taxes. This caused the economy to deteriorate even more and impoverish the people. People running markets decided to raise prices because of inflation, and started going out of business because people didn't want to pay the higher prices. Eventually, the only markets that were still intact, food markets, suffered too. Since trade is a key part of wealth, the economy further declined from this. As the stereotype goes, rich people only care about themselves. And this was true in the 3rd century crisis, as the bureaucrats and government officials started using collected tax money for their own benefit. This meant the money that should have gone to paying the soldiers was going towards personal expenses, furthering the circle of economic distress Rome was in. When Constantine came into power, he decided to move the capital from Rome to Constantinople. Unlike Rome, Constantinople was great for controlling trade routes and military movement. Merchants would therefore follow the capital to its new location with better trade opportunities, depleting the West of merchants at the same time. And, like most everything previously mentioned, this added to the West's economic problems.